Good evening, everyone, and happy new season to everyone across the world, in America, in England, in Europe, in Ireland, and in Africa, and in Jamaica. Just came back from
Yes.
Jamaica, and it's nice out there, man. Really enjoyed the curry goat. Saw my friends out there. Today, I have with me two special guests, as usual. One special guest all the way from Ireland, Patrick, a true City fan. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, Carl. Obviously, we've been talking about this in the WhatsApp group for so long that we have to feature on each other's channels. I hope we do this a lot of times because I find it much exciting featuring with people than being on your own. So, but thank you for inviting me here, and also it's good to meet Adi. Uh,
Good to meet you, buddy.
yeah, Granny.
Absolutely. And I know that we talked about this over the weekend. It's good to have a show back and have to talk about City and the season. Looking forward. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Just trying to prepare for the new season.
Yeah,
I'm glad we have this podcast. It's a very exciting part of my football season to be able to talk about our feelings, what we feel about the team, and
yeah.
so on and so forth. So really excited about the season.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. We also have Charlie, our good friends here. Charlie, champions of England, absolutely loving the t-shirt, Ade. Is that the new one you have,
Oh,
Ade?
yeah, it's this new T-shirt. Ah, had to get it. Thanks, Charlie. Had to get it.
Looks
Absolutely.
good.
I
Looks
want to
good.
thank Patrick again. Patrick, what's your handle on YouTube for your channel, man? Because you do such a fantastic job.
No,
Really.
no, my handle is quite simple. It's the same exact handle as the one on Twitter. It's True City Fan.
Mm,
So if you search True City Fan, you'll be able to find me on YouTube. If you search True City Fan, you'll be able to find me on Twitter. I make it very easy. I don't don't change my name just to make it easy. Also, just
absolutely.
being lazy, to be honest with you. I don't want to handle a lot of things. Yeah, so that's where you can find me. But anyway, I also enjoy watching your channel. I've been looking at your channel since that
Yeah.
the time you sent me the link, and I
Mhm.
was like, oh, there's people also doing it very
Yeah.
well there in America, and it's an honor to be here. Yeah,
It's funny because the City doesn't have any fans, right? That we're plastic. We don't have any fans, and the fact is, there actually probably more fans outside of the stadium than there are actually visiting the stadium every single week across the whole world, which is I find out, and it's growing. It's growing every day. It's growing every
it
moment
is.
across
It
the world.
is.
And let's talk about really. So matches started this weekend. I think it's funny how the rivals' performance will always color how you view your own team, especially if you're the last game and you have the hardest game away. So I watched all the games. I watched the Chelsea game. I watched part of the Chelsea game. I watched the United game. No surprises anywhere. I watched the Liverpool game against Norwich City. No surprises. I got to our game. I saw the lineup. I was a little worried, and I think I sent I did a note saying, "Hey, I'm a little worried with
Yeah.
this lineup." Like context is always key. But I want to ask you guys. I mean, how did you see the game? What are the good things, bad things, and the downward ugly things that you saw from the game? How do you want to start?
No, let's let the guest start first. I'm a
Patrick.
regular.
Patrick. Well, what are the
Thank
good, bad,
you.
and the ugly things, man, you saw from the game?
The good thing I saw in the game is I understand the reason why we bought Jack. He seems to be somebody who hots the ball very well. I think I've said this multiple times. Ever since David Silva left, we haven't had a midfielder who hots the ball like that. Yes, Bernardo Silva can do it, but there's a certain kind of way that Jack Grealish is doing it. It's the same way as David Silva, where you draw the players to you and then allow another player to run in behind, like what he did for De Bruyne and what he did for Sterling. We haven't seen that in a long time. I'm pretty sure we've all missed the time when David Silva would hold the ball and let Sané run in behind and he passes the ball.
Mm,
Another thing also I saw that was a bit positive is within the first 15 minutes, you could still see that the old City is still in there. The pass the ball, press very hard City is still in there. So that's why I don't want to give the boys a hard time. I'm disappointed, but I think majority of our players are not yet fit. The thing about me is I love football and I just don't watch Man City and ignore other teams. I watch other teams just to make sure to see how they're going to do that season.
mm,
I said this to one of the Man United fans. I was like, "Look, you're a United fan. I don't like United, but I've been watching your team, right? And they played against Everton. There's something that's changed in your team. There's a hunger. The way they played, in against Everton, and he was laughing at me. He's like, "It's preseason. It doesn't mean anything." I was like, "I just saw something different. It's like the team has gelled and they played very well. Van de Beek was part of that. But if you look at City, what have we actually played? United, Liverpool, and Spurs have been playing very difficult teams. Even West Ham, City were playing Barnsley. Look at that. We were playing Barnsley, and we had a game, a charity game with Barcelona that was cancelled. We also organized a game with that team we bought from France. I keep forgetting the name.
Troy.
Troy, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Look at that. It's like we're making the same mistake from seasons ago, where we play very weak teams during preseason, then start late. So that was the positive. At least we started with that energy. But the ugly, I'm pretty sure you know, Carl, you know where I'm about to go is Benjamin Mendy. is I don't know. I have no words for him. Everybody seems to attack the left hand side, so that's the ugly part of the team. They got tired early, and it shows his lack of fitness. And Benjamin Mendy was the worst player on the pitch. That's all I can say.
I think you raised some very good points, Patrick. And you raised some interesting views as well. I didn't watch the whole game because I was about to get on the flight, so I missed all the second half. So I didn't see De Bruyne and Grealish kind of play, and I was looking forward to seeing that. But Ade, what are the good, bad, and the ugly things that you saw from the game, man?
So the good things are that, I think what Patrick says is spot on. Um, when you looked at how Jack played in that game, you realize what he can bring to the team. What he can bring to the team is something David Silva used to give us, just like Patrick was saying. Because when I watched him play, he barely lost the ball, and you can tell that that's kind of what we need to support De Bruyne. If and he was mostly on the left hand side, which I thought was interesting. And Kevin De Bruyne usually Kevin De Bruyne usually rotates everywhere, and we noticed that he was mostly on the left hand side. But Kevin De Bruyne, if he's able to play on the right and Jack is able to play on the left, Jack doesn't lose the ball. The reason Jack gets fouled a lot is because you have to foul him to get the ball from him. We need that on our team. That's why Jack is the most fouled guy in the league. So those were the positives that I saw. The negatives that I saw are the same old negatives that we've always had, which is Mendy is terrible. Mendy is terrible. He's a terrible left back, and we really don't need to play him ever. Like, we should only play him in an emergency where somebody's injured, and they can't go, and that's the only reason to play. Mendy was terrible. Mendy lost passes. He lost the ball and didn't know what to do. He was getting bodied by Mora. Mora is smaller than him, and he couldn't get his body in a way so that Mora wouldn't bully him. It was really weird seeing that. And then Ake made some silly mistakes. The goal they scored should have never gone in. If we had Stones there, and because that's the side Diaz plays on, and if Stones was on the right, if Diaz was there, the guy is trying to Son is trying to go on his right. I mean, on his left. That's what he does. And so you kind of usher him towards because that's what he started to do. And then he just lost his head. Anyways, I'm getting carried away. But there was the good were the things we've known. No, the good were Jack coming gives us something new. I think he's like a David Silva. He can grow. David Silva, I don't know if we'll ever be able to replace him because he was just amazingly great at what he did.
That's true, yeah.
But I think
Unique
Jack
talent.
can come close. Yeah, I think Jack can come close. But the same problems that faced us the last 2 years are still there, which is teams want to counterattack City. If we can't defend that, then we're going to have issues. We had issues in that game. I'm not going to put a lot on them. I think if we have our regular defenders in the game, I think things would be different. But we just have to prepare for that. Teams want to counter against City. They'll let you hold the ball. Once they get those little chances, they're going to attack you, and you have to be able to defend that. So that's why.
Yeah, and those are good observations, guys. I mean, I think you guys are both spot on. It just occurred to me, when we go back to 17-18 season, we were still counter-attacked, but we were just dynamic up front. We scoring goals, like 106 goals in that season?
Yeah,
we had Sané on the left, Sterling on the right. We had Aguero, up top, or Jesus up top, whichever. The front three was just magnificent. We were scoring goals. So is it a question of the fact that, yes, I mean, we're not going to change. We have a possession-based team. We'll get down on the counter-attack, even like Barcelona used to do back in the day. But has a front three really kind of, not being as potent as we would like, with Sterling, still struggling for form. Ferran is not really a striker as such. Mahrez has his day on and off. versus what we had in 17-18. Is that the problem?
Well, we're missing a major piece. I mean, you're talking about the year Aguero years.
Mm.
Aguero was the best striker in the league for the last 10 years. When
Yep.
you take Aguero out the team, you miss a lot. So we had to change our game based on
Mm.
the team we had. We did well, but if you miss Aguero, that's a big part of your offense. So that's why we're trying to replace him now. But the thing is, the defense is something that needed to happen. I get what you're saying. Those years we didn't really worry about them counting because we scored goals. We had Aguero, we had all these guys. The defense needed to change. The defense was unsustainable. We scored the most goals, but we conceded a lot. So the
Mm.
defensive part, I like that change. I think once we are able to get a striker, hopefully it's Harry Kane, and we'll get to talking about that soon. But that changes a lot. So the problems I saw are fixable. I'm not really worried about the first game of the season.
Mm.
January is when I start to worry about, what's going on. Not right now.
Well, there's an old, I think Patrick talked about this, right? I mean, the reality is we actually did better than last season against Spurs away. So it's like
Yeah.
last year
I
we
know.
lost
I
2-0
know.
last year away to
Yeah.
Spurs, right? We lost 1-0 this year, but we still won the league. So
Yeah.
as long as you're matching your result and you can improve some of them, you get to 90 points, which I think is going to win the league this year. But yeah, I mean that's a good wrap up for the good, bad, and the ugly. Was Edison at fault anyway in that goal? Could he
Yeah,
have
a
done?
bit. I think a bit though. I know Adi is not agreeing with this, but okay. I'm just gonna paint this scenario. Obviously, to the guys watching there, just hear me out, right? Um, as a keeper, right, you're supposed to anticipate where somebody's shooting, but you could tell where, like, it's okay. Sometimes some of these players are smart. I have seen players pretend as if they're going to bend it like that and actually hit it straight. De Bruyne has done it that before. Grealish did that in one of his videos against United, the gear. Son was always going to hit it that side. That's what it is. That's where he wanted to cut in from. He's two-footed, by the way. That's the good thing about Son. Both his feet he can finish with. But some people say the right-hand one sometimes is actually more powerful for Son. So he knew that he was going to bend the ball that side. Oh, I know Diaz was in front of him, but I think Edison, the reason why he didn't move, I think he has so much confidence in Diaz. He was like, Diaz is going to block this because other keepers, regardless, will jump the same side. There might be a mistake where the ball hits Diaz and goes the other side. I'm pretty sure you've seen these scenarios before, but some keepers will jump that side. I'm not saying he was going to get it. I'm just saying maybe he should have at least attempted to jump it, but I don't think he was going to get it because the way Son bent that ball, it was almost like it's going out and it hit the post and went in. But I was just saying, I think he had the confidence that I think Diaz, because that's how good Diaz, you can tell how good Diaz is. He's blocked so many shots.
Yeah.
That's my take. I'm not trying to blame him, but I was just saying that's a little thing I noticed, that at least try to attempt to jump for the cameras, even Edison, for the cameras. Do it for the cameras. But anyway,
And if that was Stefan, you think he'd have dropped that and saved that possibly?
I don't think so. I get what Patrick's saying. I think you have to consider a bunch of things there. That shot got off really quick. That shot from Son got off really quick. And Ake, I mean, Charlie is spot on. Ake should never have. That goal is all 100% Ake's fault.
Yeah.
If you saw the starting position of Son, he had just crossed midfield. There is no reason why you let that guy in on his left. He's trying to go. It's like Sterling. Sterling's trying to go on his right. It's like Morris. Morris trying to go on his left. You have to know your personnel. So the fact that Ake didn't usher him, like kind of like how Van Dijk and Diaz do, they usher you where they want you to go. If he pushes him towards the flag, towards that goal never happens. Ake didn't do that. Ake squared up, and as soon as he squared up, he Son just pushed the left and shot. You're right, Patrick. Diaz tried to block the shot, and that obscured Edison's view, because there was another shot they got off that Edison saved. So I don't really blame Edison for that. That's a good goal. That's a really good goal from Son.
Yeah.
Push it quickly and take the shot off. Don't waste time, which is something I wish Sterling did a lot of, where once you push it right, you take the shot quickly. It doesn't give the keeper a chance to do anything.
That's another good point there for Maddie. Sorry, Carl. I just noticed that's another good point for Maddie. I think when I saw that, even Son went all the way almost to the, to the corner side. That's where he went from.
Yep.
He got the ball and started moving it slow back
Correct.
in.
Correct.
And I think Ake was trying to say, if you go here, I'll try block you this side. But I think he should have kept him that side. He should have made
Exactly.
sure he stays that side. So I
Yeah.
think there was a lot of issues because somebody also, I was on another podcast and somebody said Diaz should have come in and blocked this angle. But I was like, I think Diaz likes blocking balls from shots. That's one of his techniques I've noticed. I think he was ready to say, if this guy hits it, I'll block it. But unfortunately, I think Son is too good. He bent it off. So I think, yeah, you can say that. I think Ake should have kept him that side. But this
Yeah.
is another thing. It also brings back Mendy. When this situation was happening, do you know how the center back at the left or right and the right back always double on the player? Where the
Mm.
hell was Mendy during this period
Mendy
to
was up the
double on the
field.
Yeah.
player?
Mendy was
Mendy
lost,
was up
man.
the
Man,
field.
look, we already know, man. Let's not talk about Mendy anymore. I don't like talking about him. He's just terrible.
We have gone to the point where I think I'll just give him a name, the cheerleader or something, so we know. Anyway, let's move on.
Do we have a problem with Ake?
I saw
Because
Charlie's comment. Go ahead. Ask the question.
because I mean, whenever Ake starts, I think we lose like 70% of our games or something like that. Whenever he starts, this game, Community Shield, the game at 5-2 against Leicester, so many games. I think the only games that we won where he started was probably one against Wolves, the first game last season, which we almost lost. But do we have a problem with Ake? Seriously?
I don't think I don't think he's a good center back. I don't think Ake is gonna be a good center back. I think he's a good backup. He's somebody you need if one of the guys goes down, and he's like Mendy. He's like Mendy. So I don't put a lot of emphasis on Ake. Ake is not the starter. You know what I mean? So I expect him to make mistakes. So that game, it looked suspicious from the start. They say the guys are tired coming in off the Olympics and all that. I get that. So I don't really want to put too much blame on because he's not our main guy. So we can't really put too much stock in it. But
Yeah.
Ake was terrible in that game. Mendy was terrible in that game. Fernandinho made some dumb mistakes in that game. Like the game all around from players, they were losing the ball, defenders were losing the ball in positions you can't lose the ball. Like Fernandinho made one catastrophic mistake that almost cost us a goal.
Mhm.
Mendy's mistakes were almost every single mistake Mendy made was almost somebody trying to run it on goal. And then Sterling wasn't quick enough at the ball. When he gets the ball, he slows it down to a crawl, and then when he sees he can't go further, he passes it back. That's why he went. That's why they took him out the game. And Mares, for some reason, didn't. The game all around, just the players. I don't think they're there yet. They need another training session to get it all together because right now,
I, I didn't. My worry with that is if you look at the other teams, Chelsea, United, even Liverpool, they look like on fire. They look on game. They look fit. They look hungry. They look ready. Right. I mean, some of these guys played in the final of the Euros, like our team did. Right. How come they're fired up and ready and we're not? That's my issue.
because they played their first team. We did not. It's simple. They played their first team. We did
True.
not.
Yeah, Patrick.
You see, this is also what I don't know if you heard me from the beginning. I say during preseason, I was watching these guys. I was even complaining about. I was complaining about Liverpool. I was like, how many games is Liverpool going to play? They play at Athletic Club. They played them. They played. I don't know if one of his Canada or one of the teams. Then they kept on playing like Spanish teams. They played a few teams in France. They were playing big teams, not just small teams. The funny thing is, if they played a Spanish team and we failed to play Barcelona, why? I don't get it. Because they said because of COVID, but Liverpool managed to play a Spanish team.
Yeah.
They played a German team. Is it Wolfsburg? And they played the one Jovetic also plays with. The same thing as Everton. That is what I keep saying. Last year, preseason was poor for City. Yes, because of COVID. But other teams managed to get few games then and then. Why didn't City do something this season where they should have said, let's play teams that are actually good. Let's not play Barnsley. I don't want to play against Barnsley, then you think you're good. So if you look at United, trust me, United have played good games. I was watching them here. United have played good games. Tottenham were ready for us. Nuno already had one game with them already with a very good team. They had few games with them. West Ham have played good games. The only team There's only a few teams that I didn't say play. They didn't play anything important. It was us. Even Arsenal played good teams. We are the only ones who didn't play anybody that was relevant. I think the other teams are ready than us. And if you can see this, I was even saying it to Hugo. I was like, Hugo, why is that our English players are not back? Everton's players are back already playing preseason. Pickford is back. United, Maguire is back. Luke Shaw is back. 2 weeks before, then I went on the TV and found out that Pep had extended them, Todd Cowalk and them guys to take an extra week. So look, I don't know. He thought maybe the more the rest, the better. Maybe later on we're complaining this might be a profit for us. Look, sure, and then people might start getting injuries, but we don't know. But what I can say is, I think right now other teams, as Adi says, they are hungry. They do look hungry. Some of the teams look hungry, and I think Bruno wants a trophy. You can see from how they're playing; they really want a trophy. But I don't know. That's all I can say. I think it's because of the preparation.
The only upside is that of all the teams that are there are only two teams right now with the current squad who know how to win the Premier League, as City and Liverpool. None of the others in the past 5 years have. Okay, Chelsea maybe 5 years ago have really shown the pedigree to be able to get to 90 points. In fact, none of them have gotten over 93 points. So the only two teams that have done so, which is why Adi yesterday talked about the fact that the team that concerns him the most is probably Liverpool, which I agree with him. Yeah. That's one that really concerns me. I'm not too concerned about United. I'm not too concerned about Chelsea that much. I'm more concerned about Liverpool because of demonstrated ability to get 97 points, 99 points.
Correct.
One point away from our 100. Only two teams that got over 95 points in the history of the Premier League. And Liverpool and City. So those two really, really worry me. But it is what it is. I mean, Kenton is joining us. Kenton, all the way from Jamaica. Kenton, how are you, man?
Having some video issues.
I'm doing great. You hear me?
I hear you clearly.
Yeah, man. I had some issues with the microphone, so I restarted and come back again.
Fantastic.
I'm just here chilling and listening to you guys. I'm enjoying the discussion just by listening.
Okay, awesome.
Thoughts on yesterday's game, Kenton?
Yesterday's game, man. Oh, man. Persons might say, "Oh, it's the first match of the season, so there's no need for us to be upset or anything like that." But to be honest, my problem with yesterday's game is our approach. It's like it was a continuation of what was happening from the previous season. Understand, where we went into this season again, fielding what I would say a weakened team, having most of the more established players, the more established stars sitting on the bench. And then, it's like we entrusted people like Mendy, Ferran Torres, and those guys with the responsibility of going out there to do the job in a stadium where we have never won before against Spurs might not be winning any trophy, but I still view them as a big team. It's a big name club. All due respect, you understand? So I just didn't like the approach, and then persons are saying City players, they weren't fit. I mean, it's honestly, the more I hear that comment, is the more I become upset. You understand? These guys are professional athletes. You don't necessarily have to be at the Etihad or at the CFA to be fit. These guys, I'm sure all of them have their own personal trainers. They have their own personal nutritionists. You understand? So these guys are supposed to be always in tip-top shape in terms of fitness. I would rather you say they are not much sharp or they are not much fit. I understand that. But physically, and these guys are top-notch footballers, world-class footballers. You understand? Having them sitting on the bench not gonna get them in much shape.
The only
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I understand. The only
the thing that get me upset the most again, when I look and see people like Harry Maguire playing for United, he was just as John Stones, Kyle Walker, Raheem Sterling, and all of them. Yet Maguire led his club out yesterday. You understand? When I look, I see the Chelsea players who were involved in the Euro. Jorginho, who won the Euro, he was out there representing Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
All the other players, I see other players out there representing their clubs.
Good
So I
point.
want to know what's the difference. Why you're telling me City players they are not fit? How come the others are fit? Players are not fit? That doesn't make any sense to
Yeah,
me.
all we can say is, and Hugo made a point right here, is that Pep has been down this road before. He knows how to win the Premier League. He knows
Yeah.
what it takes. He knows the injuries. He's not looking for an invincible season, right? One game loss is not going to change the trajectory of what we need
Man.
to do,
But
right?
why do we always have to put the players under this unnecessary pressure of
I
playing catch
understand.
up?
I understand, man. It's the same question I've had, but I've come to.
It's not gonna happen every year, you know.
Mm,
Hold on a second. I'm going. Hold on.
Mm.
While he's
Yeah.
well out, let's talk about. So, can't you just hold on a second while you're getting relocated? You're stuck.
Yeah.
But to his point, I mean, it's a tough one, right? How do we explain that? But we just have to trust that they know better than we do. There's a reason why those players didn't start. I mean, he's not crazy, right? He's not gonna, deliberately try to get them to lose the game, right? He knows
Yeah.
what he needs to do. So, in reflection, let's just say, okay, one game gone, one game lost. Okay, it's 1-0, 3 points lost. We still have 37 games to play. We still have 111 points to play for, 111 points to play for, and nobody's
Yeah.
crossed 90 points in the past 5 years, apart from City and Liverpool. So
Yeah.
we got time to
So,
do that, right?
yeah, I'm not sorry, I'm not really worried too much about the game. Like the positive things you saw from the game should really encourage City fans. I feel like Patrick is dead on again, where he says, all these other teams, they really prepared before the season started. So they were good to go. The
Yeah.
fact that we didn't have our first team makes me feel a lot better, but Kenton is also right that we didn't have.
So rejoin. Gonna take care of something and then I come back on.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
grand. We'll see you,
no
Yeah. All
Kenton.
problem.
right.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Grand. Big up.
Go ahead, sorry.
So the fact that we didn't have those guys in the game really gave me a little bit of relief. But like I said before the season, people have really counted Liverpool out. It's who are these new guys for Chelsea? They have Lukaku. Woo, he's a shiny new object. They're going to be good. Don't get me wrong. Liverpool know how to win already, and
That's true.
they have a healthy squad. They have their main guy back. Gomez is back. They have Matip back. If those guys are healthy, that's a problem for City. So that's the team I feel like we need to be really mindful of. But everything's going to come together. I feel like this game is going to make the next game more interesting for us, because the next game we are going to come out with a purpose, because guys are going to say, "Hey, we can't afford to do what we did last week.
Yeah.
We got to smarten up." So the next game is what I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the
Yeah,
next
that's
one
brilliant.
very quickly, Patrick and Andy. And we talked about and I think you guys agree that what Grealish brings to the team is almost the David Silva-esque kind of way, where he can hold on to the ball, where he can the balls that like Pep's likes to play, right? Somebody who can actually hold on to the ball, create time and space. So we've kind of dealt with that for the most part. Where do you see him playing, though? Do you see him as a left 8 or more of the left side of the striker? How do you see what's Jack role? Or can Jack play a 6? What do you see him as in the short term and the long term?
Is
Patrick,
that
you can go.
do I start off? Okay. Look, for me, and as I said at first, I thought this was just going to be a bonus. There was also a time when I was also falling into this hype where a few people were telling me we're buying Jack to just be the face for the kid, and the guy who makes us buy the jersey. You know how sometimes City come up with the jersey and they're like, this is nasty, and Aguero wears it. And you know yourself, you're not Aguero. You don't have Aguero's body, and you're not Aguero, but Aguero wears. You're like, I'm gonna buy that. So people are saying, "Oh, Jack is what he's been." But look, the guy is talented. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that even people who know him say when they are with him in training, it's as if you're playing Messi in training. Apparently, he's a menace in training. You can't get the ball off him. That's what even Matty Cash was saying. It's difficult to get the ball off him. But he says in training, you cannot go with a tackle. He says you just have to let him pass, because if you go with the tackle, you're injuring one of your own. So Madikash says it's very hard to get the ball off. We're gonna need somebody like that. One of my friends says, unlike Kane, he thinks that Jack might be somebody who can help us in the Champions League. He says because we struggled in the Champions League when teams lock up. He says Jack can actually win us fouls, win us penalties. As I said from the beginning, we haven't had a player that's like David Silva. People were saying Foden is going to take over. I think Foden might be in that position one day, but I think Pep is trying to give Foden time to play a lot of positions. And you could hear Pep himself. He said Foden is not ready because he always plays with one pace. He always rushes with the ball, He's playing like a street footballer. He says sometimes he has to come down, look for a pass. What does Jack do? Exactly what Pep just said. He comes down, looks for a pass. He goes in opposition box, which I don't know if you guys saw this. He's so calm. He goes in the box, holds the ball. Nobody's still going close to him. Yeah. He takes his time to pick up a pass, the same way as he did that assist with Harry Kane in the Euros. So I think he's going to play next to De Bruyne. And did you also notice this? As soon as, he's a De Bruyne fanboy, as soon as he saw De Bruyne on the pitch, he was so happy. He drifted. He followed De Bruyne everywhere. They started doing 1-2s, and that's when he pointed this side, and De Bruyne gave him the ball, and De Bruyne went behind. I think that's the place he's going to play. I don't think we're going to see him at the left-hand side where in the front three. I think he'll always divert that side, but I think he's going to be next to De Bruyne. I think that's what Pep is looking for. But as I said, Pep also said he looks at him as a guy who can play the false nine, and you do know Pep, he loves the false nine. Yeah. I still think he can also play that, because you know what you need in a false nine? You need somebody who can hold the ball. So Grealish can do it, but I think he's gonna play the number 8. Sorry, we lost one game, and I thought we got the reaction.
I want to introduce this guy, Martin. So this is the Mancunian Way. It's a channel run by Martin. For everyone out there, Martin is a phenomenal guy. Patrick, you need to have him on your show.
Yeah. He tags me on Twitter. I think I have watched his videos and stuff. Yeah,
Martin is the sweetest, most Manchester of fans. He is such a lovely guy. I mean, Martin can never get upset with you, right? I have many debates with him on Twitter. I poke him in the wrong way. He's always so calm and so warm. He's a fantastic guy. Started a new channel, Mancunian Way. Everybody subscribe to his channel. He's really a good guy.
I'm going to have to do that. But yeah, I agree with you, Manchurian Martin. Like, yeah, we lost one game in the league. I was telling my friends too. They're like, "Oh, City lost." I was like, "Yeah, you know what? We lost the league already. We might." So I'm not worried anymore. But yeah, everything Patrick is saying, I don't want to be like a parrot and repeat it, but he's dead on. It's I think Jack is going to be. I think once Jack gets to the comfort level he had at Aston Villa, it takes time to get there, because you're coming into a new team. You can't just start doing things. If he gets to the level he was, because he was the second best midfielder in the EPL, he was second only to Kevin De Bruyne. If he comes in and is at that comfort level again, he's gonna, because look at what De Bruyne did when he came in, because it's De Bruyne's team. De Bruyne had a few touches, passed the ball, running to the corner kick, taking the corner kick. He made a quick pass, took that shot that Lloris had to really reach for to see. Once Grealish is at that same comfort level, he's going to do the same things. It's going to be yin yang, and then the other guys get freer. You see a freer Mahrez, a freer Sterling to do what they've always been doing. But the reason they've not been able to do it is because there's too much focus on them. People double them up. People double Mahrez up. You can't double everybody. You got Grealish now. You got De Bruyne. You got these wingers. Who are you going to double? It's like it's going to be difficult. So the future is bright. I'll let you leave. We're going to talk about Harry Kane. I got a lot to say on that.
Yeah, well, that's why I have to stop right here with the Mancunian is teasing me about Harry Kane. Let's talk about what I call the impossible Kane saga. Right, 2 weeks left. We got 2 weeks left at the end of the window. Harry Kane didn't start for Tottenham on Sunday. Harry Kane was not on the bench. Apparently, we heard that Harry Kane was in the stadium. Nobody has pictures of Harry Kane in the stadium. He wasn't there. They say he's been registered for the European Conference League that starts on Thursday.
Yeah,
doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
You can unregister somebody the next day if they leave. if the window is still open. Where are we with Kane? Is he going to come? Is he not going to come? If he doesn't come, what do we do? Patrick and Addy.
Okay. So, Patrick, let me go first. I've been itching to
Yeah,
talk about this.
go
So,
ahead. Go ahead.
with Harry Kane, I think we are going all guns blazing with Harry Kane. We want to get Harry Kane. There is no mistake about that. The only reason we wouldn't get Harry Kane is if Daniel Levy has some kind of a brain fart moment and says, I don't want to do business with these guys. But
Yeah.
it is our intent to get Harry Kane. I've heard all the arguments about Haaland. I get it. Haaland is a phenom. Guess what? When Haaland is ready next year for 75 million, we are not the only ones going to be going after Haaland. So that is a risk we cannot take now. We cannot wait and say, oh, well, let's just wait for Haaland. Haaland might not go to City because United need a striker as well. And he's only going to cost 75 million as a relief clause. There are lots of teams that can afford it. So we can't always assume that come next year, oh, Haaland's available. We're just going to get Haaland because he's going to come to City because his dad plays for City. We can't make those assumptions. That is why we are doing everything possible to get Harry Kane. Harry Kane is proven in the EPL. He has battled with this guy for 10 years. He was the second best striker for duration of his career almost. That's the guy we need. Are we going to get him? I feel like we are because the writing's on the wall. Tottenham fans are already against him. You cannot get the leader of your team to be somebody the fans hate. I don't know how you build a successful
Yeah.
season around a guy that's already demonized. They've already demonized. He's the villain. So how do you make a villain the face of your club now? You can't do it. The best bet is to sell this guy. And I know they're trying to find a way. I've been looking at all the people that's been linked to Spurs with signing. They're trying to because I think they're anticipating him leaving because it's really toxic to have that guy. Do I agree with some of the ways Harry Kane has done things like missing training? No, I don't. But players do what they do, and I'm not going to fault anybody for doing what they do because they want to leave a club. But we are going to do everything possible to get Harry Kane. If we don't get him, is it the end? No. But it doesn't look good for winning a league or winning Champions League if we don't get him.
To Martin's point, Martin is someone we've been talking about this for ages, right? Martin, I mean, I holds it forever. Says Kane is done. It'll be announced so Spurs can get. It won't be announced so Spurs can get the replacement. If people know they will have 140 million prices go up, it's all political. Yeah, it's a fair argument. I mean, everybody in England, Patrick, seems to believe that this deal is going to happen for Harry Kane. Maybe the England. So Martin, you guys are now typical. We are the typical CT now. We're doubtful. You guys are the ones that are optimistic, right? We're like, we don't know. We're not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we're leveraging your hope and your optimism that.
Hey, Charlie, I hope you're right. Martin, I hope you're right. But Patrick, I'll let you go next because I don't want to talk too long. But
Patrick,
we got to get this guy, man. We got to get him.
Patrick, thoughts?
Look for me, Carl and Addy. It's that 100 bid that was put in for the Euro started, right? That made sense, and to me, I think that was original because there's certain people I trust when I see them tweet out, certain journalists I follow. They're the ones who broke up news that ended up City actually happening. One of them being Sam Lee, even though people like saying bad stuff about him, I still believe he does the best for City, even though he's a United fan, but I think he reports very well for City. That 100 mil bid was done. I think it was rejected. What I'm thinking is, let's look at the facts here. The thing is, I like dealing in facts. I don't like just bringing up stories, but as Adi said, some of the things align very well. Do you remember the interview that Kane did with Gary Neville?
Yes.
He did it before the Euros started.
Yeah.
And what did he say in the interview? He said if somebody else would come in with like 100 million, do you remember that? If somebody else comes in with 100 million, I think Levy will it will be looked at and say, oh, let him go. We can use that money for something else. That's what he said in something along that line.
Yeah.
And then he hinted saying, oh, who do you want to play with? Oh, De Bruyne all day. He'll put it on the plate for you. So let's bring this back. There was rumors that Harry Kane told somebody a senior player at City that I'm coming that side. You know what I mean? And basically, him and Grealish seem to be obsessed with De Bruyne, and they see him as a player they want to play with. And there was also rumors that these two guys, Grealish and Kane, in the England camp, they were openly talking to City players, asking them what's going to happen. During the interview, Grealish said, "Yes, I spoke to City players, and I wanted to know the experience coming here." So all these things look like they were true, and players can talk. When they talk, somebody talks to the reporter. But let's keep to the 100 million point. As soon as he said that in that interview, and he said this, he was trying to hint with the gentleman's agreement, which everybody keeps saying rubbish, let it go away. He was also hinting that in that interview that it's sort of an agreement that if somebody comes with this, I'll be gone. He just didn't say it, but he was putting some sprinkles
Yeah.
around. City go bid 100 million. I believe Kane had a deal with Levy years ago when 100 million was big money. That if somebody comes with 100 million, Kane, you can go. The same thing as Aston Villa. Remember, Aston Villa never thought anybody would come with 100 million for Grealish. He said it in his.
Oh, wow.
The director said it in the video. I was like, we put 100 million. We thought nobody would ever come for him. So I'm thinking City really want this guy. I think Spurs were surprised to see 100 million at that door. They were surprised, and I think they agreed. Harry Kane's camp and City camp have already agreed terms. I think they did agree terms, and they told City that go with 100 million. They will accept it. They thought maybe Levy was a man of his word, which he's never. Another thing, Adi, I just wanted to answer you as we're going through this Kane thing. A lot of Spurs fans and other people are saying they're not happy with what Kane has done. Let's not forget that for you to get out of Spurs, let's remember Modric. What happened to Modric? Modric wanted to go to Chelsea.
Thing.
Yeah, he had to do something out of.
Yeah.
He had to throw his toys out of the pram. Bell had to stay in Spain and say, "I'm not coming back." Carrick to go to United. He said he begged Levy. Have you heard his interview? Carrick said, "I begged Levy, saying, please, let me go. I want to go play Champions League football." The man stood his gun until the end. You know what I mean? So Levy is not somebody you can just easily walk out of the club for. So I think this Kane saga, there's negotiations happening. That's what I believe, because there's no smoke without fire. And at the end of the day, this is what I'm going to say. Mr. Levy, if you're watching this, if you ever get to watch this, if you deny, if indeed City offer you 140 million or 120 or 30, and you look at them in the eye and say, no, I will respect you as a businessman, because to be honest with you, you have to be silly to reject that money for a 28-year-old Kane who's not going to be happy at your club at the end of the day. And next year, nobody's going to come back for Kane. This is the only window he has. I should be honest with you guys. Football is funny. He is going to turn 28 very soon, but no, 29 very soon. But right now, when he's 28, right? That's when people want you. And when you just turn 29, nobody's going to come for you. Like, Levy either has to take that money or not. And I don't know if you guys saw about the tweets by a few journalists out there who obviously are accredited. I don't know if they're saying the truth. One said by Thursday, if there's no movement, I think it says that deal is sour. Then somebody said by this week, I'm pretty sure Spurs has given Man City a deadline that if you don't give us an amount close to what we're looking for, let's just call this quits. So as Adi says, I believe there's negotiations happening, and I believe he's going to come on, because look, you cannot not have him on the bench. Everybody was on the bench from England. So where was he? Why didn't he come back from the holidays?
But Patrick, just to piggyback on your point, I have a couple of comments I want to talk about here very quickly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about 120, 130 million pounds. It's a lot of money.
Martin, you should have been on the. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you. Martin, you should have been on the show. You have too many good information out there for you not to have been on the show.
Come on. I send you the link, Martin, if you want to.
Come on, buddy.
I can send you the link, Martin, if you want to show your face. You may not want to. But remember, Kane is an academy product. So it cost them what? Absolutely nothing.
Zero.
So it's all profit.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the. But the thing is, you cannot. This is the bottom line. Forget everything we're talking about. You cannot build a season where fans are back behind a superstar who doesn't want to be there.
Facts.
You can't do that. I mean, it's just it's mind-boggling that you would even attempt to do that. So I believe all of this is just tactics, negotiations. You're trying to get the most money from City. And I told you, I think I told you this. We are going to go as far as 120, maybe higher. Once we put that money down, the only reason you won't take that money is because
You
you are
don't.
just being an idiot.
Yeah.
He's going to
Oh,
be 29 years next year.
ego issues.
29 years old. 29-year-old player, you're not going to get that money for him next year because Mbappe's available, Haaland's available. So that money goes away. So this is your best chance to make that money. I believe sometime this week, we're going to see that tweet that says, oh, Harry Kane, blah, blah, blah. I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling.
Well, I saw a tweet earlier on. I don't know if it's true, Patrick and Adi, about Nuno said that yes, Harry Kane is part of the squad, but if Harry Kane is not available, we need to start looking for something else, someone else. I saw something similar to that. Or was
He
I
says
wrong?
we have to start preparing for life without something like we don't have to prepare for life without Harry Kane. Another
Yeah.
guy who's been lying is Nuno. Nuno is the
Oh,
same
yeah.
guy who looked
Yeah.
us in the face and told
Yeah.
us that Harry Kane is going to be part of the squad. He's going to
Oh,
travel.
yeah.
He never traveled or stepped on any train.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So Martin
Yeah.
says 120 plus add-ons, I think up to 140, maybe
That
150.
number is the magic. See, I already knew about that number before anyone started talking about it. I knew that 100 million wouldn't be enough because we already gave Jack 100 million. It will have to be a significant amount for them to pull this trigger. And I know people are going, look, I can almost predict what's going to happen. If we get Harry Kane for 120, there's going to be all this noise, or the most expensive guy, and the pressure is going to be on our team to win every single competition in the world.
Mm.
We have to wrestle that pressure and ride it like a bull to wherever we go because it's going to be on us for the whole season. It's going to be critics everywhere. Oh, he joined the team, they didn't win the champions, blah 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 blah. Fans, don't break. You got to
Right.
keep your faith because the fans are so important. Don't let this outside noise
Yeah.
influence you.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough. This season is going to be tough,
You
especially
know,
if we get him.
what I don't understand, Ade, piggyback on that point, and Martin, help us out here, and Charlie, help us out here, right? Isn't it a good thing for the England national team that you have Kane, Sterling, Foden, Grealish, Walker, Stones in the same team under the best manager preparing you for the World Cup next year?
And Foden, don't forget Foden.
And Foden. Isn't it a good thing that you have all those players on the same team blending and gelling together, preparation for the World Cup in 2022 Qatar and the next Euros?
I feel like that's the best part of the story of City. This should be England's team. If we're being honest,
Yeah.
this should be
Yeah.
England's team. We
Yeah.
have guys that are going to be in the World Cup. They are part of a City squad under the best manager. You said it all. Why is this not England's team? Why are they always demonized? It's
Yeah.
always United because of the history. And I get it. United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. But other teams are in this competition too. They're in this EPL. City has English players doing so well, and yet they're demonized by the media every day. It gets on my nerves, but you know what? I just have to deal with it and move on because if they don't accept us, that's fine. And it is what it is. As long as we keep winning, we win most of the competitions we're in, they'll have to accept us someday. That's
It's
how I
funny
see it.
because it's almost like if that Kane thing happens, it's almost like our season starts again. It's like forget that preseason friendly game against Spurs. Okay, we give them 3 points, enjoy the 3 points. We know you're not going to win anything anyway. Well, season starts again once Kane comes in because then we go there on this expansive. I've never been a Kane fan. Martin will tell you that. Ade will tell you that. Hugo will tell you that. I've always been like a Holland fan. But I think you always want somebody who wants to go to your club, right? You always want someone who wants to be there. And Kane clearly wants to be at Man City.
Yes.
Made no bones about it. Jack Grealish wants to be in the club. He's made no bones
Yes.
about it. You want people who want to be there because they have a certain investment that they
You are
put in.
speaking my mind today. I mean, these
So
players want to be here.
yeah.
Harry Kane wants to be. We're not going out and pursuing Harry Kane because we want him and we're trying to lure him over with money. Harry Kane wants to be at City. Jack Grealish was almost like a schoolgirl talking about City. They want to be at City. I mean, man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about
No,
this.
I think. I mean, I was always. This is why we have the fan forums where we talk about things like this because we learn from each other. We talk about issues.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
And I see the point, right? And you want somebody who wants to be at your club. You don't.
Yeah,
Leroy
yeah.
Sané, for example, prodigy. I love Leroy. I mean, I love Leroy, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't want to be at the club.
No, he didn't.
He wanted to
And
be at
remember
Bayern
what I
Munich.
told you. Remember what I told you about? I was like, look, he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Let him go. He doesn't want. He's a great player.
Yeah.
Let him go. He doesn't want to be there under the best manager. And what happened to him? He comes off the bench at Bayern. Let him go. I'm not worried about people that don't want to be there. Bernardo Silva, as great as he is, he doesn't want to be there because he's not getting a starting position. And that's fine. Go. We don't
Yeah.
want people. And Pep says it all the time. We want people that want to be here. He says it all the time. We want people that, if you don't want to be here, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you. They put in a good offer. Go.
Yeah.
Patrick, I'm sorry. I'm taking up too much airtime.
No,
Patrick,
no,
This is
I'm
kind of
listening
why
to
we're
you.
here,
I'm
right?
listening to. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet is it days ago? I wrote a tweet. I was like, why is it Chelsea, right? Keep spending and it's left under, like it's put under the rocks. If I was to mention Chelsea's signings that have been quietly, even Bashwai, right now, Bashwai is also being quietly thrown away quietly.
yes. Mhm.
Don't forget Chelsea have Drinkwater on their books. Bakayoko was bought
Wow.
for 40 million or 50 and sold for less than that. But you know what makes me laugh? I was watching the news here. I'm not going to listen to that guy anymore. He works for Sky News, whatever his name is. He seems he's got a personal agenda. There's a guy who works for Sky and
older guy. I saw him this weekend. I watched the guy.
He
Was
has
he
the
with Gary Neville and Michael Richards Michael Richards this weekend? Because I watched.
No. I'll send you the name. This guy said Lukaku. This guy was saying us spending 100 on Grealish. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. That's unfair to other teams in the Premier League. How can they do that? Yet they were claiming that they're righteous and saying they don't spend over that. Yeah, here he's got the name. He's got the
Savell. Okay.
Yeah. So do you know what he says though when he said Lukaku is going to Chelsea? The tone changed now. The tone has changed. He says, "Oh, they are being ambitious, and Tuchel deserves this signing."
Patrick, let me explain something to you, Patrick. Let me explain something to everybody, all City fans out there. Just understand this very clearly. It is not in the interest of the Premier League for Man City to keep winning the title every single year.
No.
It is not in their best interest. So when you look at the schedule that they've put together for us for the next first 5 or 6 games versus, let's say, a United, or you look at other teams, it is not in the Premier League's interest for City to keep winning that title year on year. What they want is competition, which is great. They want to have different teams win it because it creates excitement, it creates a brand, it creates the whole media fever. They don't want to be a Bayern Munich where Bayern Munich is winning every single year, or Barcelona or PSG. They don't want a Premier League to be Ligue 1. And I understand that, right?
Yeah.
What I don't like is the forced narrative that you create in order to discourage or disparage a whole club.
Yeah.
Even though the club has done things the right way and haven't spent as much as United have spent or Chelsea in recent times.
Yeah.
That's my issue. I understand you want competition. Let them play.
They all spend money. They all spend money. City spends money. Chelsea spends money. United spends money. Liverpool spends money. There's a chart out there. I don't know if we can put graphics out. I sent it to you. It shows that since Abramovich has come into the league in 2003, he has spent more money than City. Yes, City came in second, and the owner started around 2008. But that shows you that the spending Chelsea does is similar to what City does. But they are just stuck in their old ways. They don't like the fact that this team that's supposed to be a small team, in Manchester, where United is like a giant, is coming in and disrupting things with these new owners that are smartly investing in a team, investing in younger players, investing in English players. They don't like that. They feel that all these players should be at United. They feel like Grealish should be wanting to go to United. They feel like Kane should be at United. Foden should be at United. I don't even think they're happy about the fact that the guy they just signed for 75 million is a City product, Sancho. They don't like all these things. They want United to dominate everything. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're
can I
sorry
ask?
that we win a lot. We're sorry that we got the best manager. I'm sorry, Patrick. Go ahead.
No, it's fine, Adi. Sorry for cutting you there. I wanted to. You just reminded me something. Oh, by the way, as I said, I usually watch the transfer news. I watch other teams' news. I'm always making sure that I learn in case you're on a channel and you have to know what to say to other fans. That's what I
Right.
believe. Um, Two things I noticed during this transfer window. The guy he just spelled, that guy, you can tell he's just an agenda merchant because he was caught out during the show. Can I ask both of you, has Daniel Levy or Spurs come out and told anybody that the price is 160 for Kane or
No,
150?
No.
Have we
no.
seen any? Do you know
No.
sometimes where you get a statement
No.
from a club, you
No.
know that this is an official statement
Yeah,
that said they've put 60 on him and it's at least it's sourceable. What
yeah.
happened during one of the shows was funny. There are two lads who do the Sky transfers. The guy who has an agenda against us kept on saying this. So there's a black guy. I don't know if you know him. He's a black guy. He
Hold.
usually, yeah, the old guy.
Yeah.
That guy, I like him because he was listening to the two and they kept on saying, "Oh, Levy wants 150. That's what City have to pay. If City want this player, Harry Kane, they have to pay 150." So he looked at them and said, "Can I ask you one question? Has Levy himself said he wants 150? Where are you getting this? Do you know what your man did? He didn't answer the question. He
You want?
ignored that question and continued talking."
Mm.
So that's when I saw, I was like, I think this whole 150 is a lie. I bet
Yeah,
you if this deal actually comes out, everybody will be surprised that it's actually 120 or maybe even 100. We'll be
it's
surprised.
120. Patrick, you're right. But
Mm,
they don't. The reason they're making all this up, I'm telling you. I'm telling you
mm.
right now. They don't want. They would rather Kane go to United. They don't
Absolutely.
want City to dominate.
Absolutely.
They know if we get Harry
That's,
Kane,
that's the issue.
the league is a wrap. I mean, look, the Champions League, it's a hit or miss. You might get a bad drop. Somebody might
Yeah,
get a
it's
red
unlucky.
card. You can try
Yeah.
that. We get that, but they know the league is wrapped up for probably the next 2 years. We get Harry Kane and everybody's healthy. I don't see how a team beats City on if they go out prepared every day. I don't see how you beat them. They know this. Everyone knows this. That's why they are not happy about Kane possible. And Kane wants to come to City. It's not that we are begging him. They don't want that. Nobody wants that.
And that's why they keep putting that price. Keep
That
putting that price so they can put it, I think, out there and put it in Levy's head. Because that guy asked, I loved what he asked. He looked at them and said, Where are you getting the
They're
150
making it
from?"
up. They're making
None
it
of
up.
them answered, and he continued talking about something else.
the issue with the valuation at the is but once it's all nonsense because maybe people say, well, Grealish came for 100, so Kane must be 150, 160. Well, Kane is 3 years older than
Yeah, exactly.
Grealish is.
Grealish is just
And you can't
10-25.
value a person 50 million more because he's 3 years older. You have to value close to the 100 million, which to
Correct.
devalue him at, right? Because of his pedigree, or maybe 120 at the most. But
Yeah.
this is kind of where we are. This is at this point, they know Kane comes to City with Grealish, De Bruyne, Fernandinho, Foden,
Sterling.
It's a
Sterling,
wrap. It's a wrap.
Mahrez, Jesus, Hussein, Laporte, Stones, Diaz,
It's a wrap.
Edison, Cancelo, and Gundogan. You haven't brought in the academy players in. We're talking about
Yeah,
PSG.
and the Sam Adoze is another look. We know what the agenda is. They keep pushing this money up because somehow they believe once they push that money high enough, we won't pay the money because we'll be in this FFP conversation again and blah 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 blah. Look, all of that is not going to work.
It's a smoke screen.
I believe
Smoke
King
screen.
comes through. Yeah, it's all smoke screen. I believe we get King. I
Want to
well,
welcome Carl.
I really truly hope we get him. I
Want to
really
welcome
truly.
Carl to the show. Carl, welcome, man. Good to see Everton do well yesterday and during the game. Hope you're happy with what's his name, Benitez. Seems to be a decent guy for Everton. We'll see what happens. But just wrapping up, guys. Just 2 minutes left. A minute left. Do you guys think Kane is going to happen in this next 2 weeks? And why do you believe yes or no? Ade?
I feel like there's a very nothing is certain. There's a high probability we get him because if you put everything, all the stories we've heard together, especially what Martin has been saying on the chats about what Kane didn't tweet about anything. They're removing him from the shops. Apparently, some of his pictures. If you couple that with the fact that he wasn't even on the bench, he wasn't in the stadium for the first game of the season. The face of your franchise wasn't there. The fact that
Face
he
of your
wants to come to the
franchise. The face
city,
of your franchise. Yeah.
the face of the franchise, the fact that he wants
Yeah.
to come to the city. If you put all that together, a good analyst would tell you there's a high probability we get this guy before the 31st. I really feel like the end of this week, we will hear some positive news about progress being made and he's coming to city. So I feel like if I put a number in it, I'll say 85% chance we get Harry Kane.
Patrick, do you think the fact that Guardiola, who doesn't do this, he doesn't come out and talk about players, actually talked about the Harry Kane situation about a week and a half ago? And he came back in his interview and said, I don't normally talk about it. Go back to my interview that I talked about it before. They want this guy, right? Do you think they're going to get him by the end of the month?
Yeah, as I said, I was watching Sam or from Athletic Sport. Some people might not like him, but I follow him and I think he talks sense. He basically said Guardiola has said, I want Kane. That's it. It's I want Kane and Grealish. You know what I mean? He said that's what he wants. And Sam Lee was saying a lot of people are crying for left back, but apparently Guardiola doesn't see that as his issue.
Problem.
He said he told the board Kane and Grealish, and that's it. So I'm pretty sure maybe they sat down in the room and said, look, Guardiola, you went to the finals of the Champions League. What do you want? Give us names. So I think he had enough. He said, let me take the two best players, as United used to do. They used to buy the two players or players that were the best and bring them to the squad. So I think he wants Kane. And as most journalists are saying, it's Kane or bust. Apparently, it's Kane or bust. There's no plan B. It's Kane or that's it. It's done and dusted. But as Adi said, one journalist also said somebody told him from somebody from Spurs went to the shops, and if you go to the stadium shops, there's no Kane's face or merchandise. So I didn't get the thing, so I went online and I found Kane's jersey. But guess what, Kawa and Daddy, if you go to the online store, I went to the online store. One of my shows on online. Somebody wrote it. One of the journalists wrote it on the chat.
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
straight. I just wanted to prove that I found the jersey. But guess what? As soon as you click in, who are you supposed to find? The same way as Aston Villa did. Grealish was their face. They removed Grealish and they put Watkins and the new fella they bought this side and put three of them.
Oh,
So Grealish was no longer there. You had to click over and over to find Grealish's jersey and his face on the lineup only. But when you open the page, you're supposed to always see Grealish because he's the
right.
man.
Yeah.
If you go to the Spurs one, Kane is not the first one. It's Son.
Wow.
Son is the poster boy this time.
Wow.
That's what Martin said
That's
earlier on.
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, so Son seems to be the poster boy, and you really have to go to buy the jersey to find Kane. That's how you
That's
find
interesting. That's very interesting.
This saga continues on. We have about 14 days left of the window. It's going to be interesting for City fans. The good thing is we have another game on Saturday against Norwich. Hopefully we can get that over the line and just sweep.
Remember, Norwich was tricky last year. Norwich was tricky last season.
They have a point. They have a point to prove in this game.
Yeah.
They don't win that game on Saturday, then we have real problems.
We got to win this game though. But Norwich is tricky. You know they're waiting for that counter with Pookie. We know what teams want to do. They want to counter. Look, you just got to be smart.
It's the same coach. It's the same coach too.
Same coach. I hope we play our regular back line.
But remember when they played us at home the last time when they played us, we beat them 5-0.
Yeah, that's true.
Was it 4-0? 4 or 5, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, the first game was disappointing, but in context with Ake, Mendy, Ferran against Tottenham, first game of the season, all the fans in the stadium, 1-0, it's not too bad. We just have to pull our bootstraps up and we go again. We know how to win this league. This league is our league. The cup is our cup. We know how to win this league. Liverpool will pose a threat. Chelsea will pose a threat. Man United will try.
Yeah, they will.
But I think if we get Kane and Grealish and our boys, it'll be tough.
It'll be tough.
For other teams. So
hey guys over in Manchester, I'm happy you guys are back in the stadium. We'll be cheering from the US for you guys, man. I'm really happy for you guys out there because I know soccer is a huge deal in England. So the fact that you guys get back in the stadium, we'll be cheering with you guys.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get back there at some point. But I want to thank you guys for coming on board today, coming on the show. Patrick, thank you very much for coming. Again,
Thank you, Patrick.
Patrick's show. Patrick is Patrick at True City Fan. He has a great channel. I was on earlier on today. His analysis is sound. He's a great City fan. Martin is one of the Blues who's outside of the UK, but he loves the club, bleeds blue, and he really believes in the club. I have Ade, who's here. Again, somebody who I respect and I work with, and I talk with for a couple of years now. We've been doing this, right? Back and forth.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. Keeps me calm, right?
Yeah, I try. It's tough, but I try.
Most times. And then Martin's of the McCunion way. So subscribe to Martin's channel as well. He's great lad. I really enjoy listen to his show. So till next time, we hope Saturday's a win. We hope that by the 31st, we get Mr. England. Harry Kane. Till then, take care. And
yeah, see you guys.
Bye.
See you guys. Thank you all.